The prone condition is underrated. While it looks weak at first glance, it's an important condition that does a few things. Forces a creature to crawl in order to move, which costs twice as much movement, and gives a creature disadvantage on its attack rolls. If you attack a prone creature from within 5 feet, you have attack advantage, but range attacks against them are made with disadvantage. Ending the prone condition is pretty simple. Just spend half your movement speed to stand up, which is a big reason why it often gets overlooked. I'll quickly cover the main ways of causing the prone condition as a player in D&D before turning to why the condition is more versatile and consistent than any other condition in the game. There are tons of ways for players to cause the prone condition in Dungeons & Dragons, from powerful feats and spells to the humble pouch of ball bearings. Let's start with the thing that literally any character can do, and that's the shove action. Any player can use shove as their attack action, which involves an athletics check contested by the target's athletics or acrobatics. If you win, you can choose either push the target 5 feet away or knock it prone. Brief note, you can't shove a creature that's more than one size larger than you, so don't go trying to push the frost giant as a halfling. Another common way of causing the prone condition is with spells. 13 spells in 5e's main source books can inflict the prone condition, and every spellcasting class has access to at least one such spell. Most of these spells require a dexterity or a strength saving throw to resist, and also come with additional effects on top of forcing the target prone. Another fairly common way of bringing enemies to their knees is with class and subclass features. 10 features can cause the prone condition. These mostly belong to martial classes and range from 3rd to 15th level. Let me know if I missed any. There are also 3 feats that give players access to another way of causing the prone condition, the most popular being Shieldmaster, which allows a player to shove as a bonus action after attacking. The next way of causing the prone condition is a bit cheesy and not often used, but that's ball bearings. A pouch of these costs 1 GP and is part of basic adventuring gear. If any player uses an action to spill them on the floor, they cause a 10 square foot area to become dangerous, requiring a DC 10 dexterity save to pass through without falling prone. And finally, the simplest way of causing the prone condition to yourself is just choosing to lie down. Any player can choose to lie down on its turn without using movement or an action. Doing so makes them effectively prone. I'll talk more about why the heck you'd want to do this later on in the video. Alright, so those are the many ways of causing the prone condition, or having it inflicted on yourself. Now let's turn to a few ways to make the prone condition a part of your party's tactics. Tip number 1 is to pair it with the grappled condition. One of the big effects of the grappled condition is dropping a creature's speed to 0. When a prone creature has 0 speed, it can't stand up until it uses an action to break free of the grapple. The idea is to shove a creature prone, either with the shove action or by other means, and then grapple them before their turn begins. Now, all your melee compatriots and yourself can enjoy attack advantage on a target that's completely immobile and offensively gimped. This is a very potent combination, and some character builds revolve around utilizing this tactic. I won't get into the details, but suffice it to say that juicing your athletic skill, having a Barbarian's Rage for advantage on strength checks, and finding ways to get big, like the Enlarge Reduce spell, are typically the core pillars of such builds. My next tip is about using the prone condition proactively, and that's to protect yourself from range attacks. If you're being targeted by archers or spellcasters, choosing to drop prone can be a great option. All range attacks against you will have disadvantage, so you're essentially getting the dodge action for the cost of half your movement on a later turn. Plus, if there's cover around, dropping prone might also provide some extra AC and dexterity saving throw bonuses. Just be careful, if a melee enemy manages to get in range, they'll have a much easier time landing an attack on you. My next tip is in a similar vein, and that's to stand up, take a range shot, and then drop prone. If you yourself are a ranged attacker or spellcaster and have no reason to move, there's nothing to lose from dropping prone at the end of every turn. Sure, you'll have to stand again on your next turn to attack without disadvantage, but if you're not using movement for anything else, who cares? And if you're slinging saving throw based spells, you don't even need to stand up. To be clear, this isn't cheesy metagaming. It's a sound tactic employed by warriors since the dawn of time. There's no reason to expose yourself to attack unnecessarily. My next tip is just in the service of those last 2 tips, and that's to grab the athlete feat. This allows you to stand from being prone with only 5 feet of movement rather than half your movement. It also comes with a +1 strength or dexterity ASI, and buffs your climbing and jumping ability. My next tip is to take advantage of feats and features. Inflicting the prone condition is nice, but it's not usually worth your full action, as in shoving the target. Feats and features that allow you to attempt knocking an enemy prone for the cost of a bonus action, like Shieldmaster, or a resource, like a Battlemaster Strip Attack Maneuver or a Monk's Open Hand technique, get you much more bang for your buck. My next tip is about character building, and that's to know the good prone-inducing spells. The first level spells Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Grease are excellent spells that cause a prone condition at low levels. After that, the 3rd level Sleet Storm is another great battlefield control spell that can bring enemies to their knees. And my final tip is to knock flying enemies from the sky. A flying creature falls from the sky when it's knocked prone, either instantly or at 500 feet per turn, depending on the rules you're using. Either way, if you use a ranged spell or feature to knock a flyer prone, you'll likely deal some pretty big fall damage once they splat on the ground. Those are just a few ideas for making the most out of the prone condition in D&D 5e. Now I'm going to quickly clear up a few misconceptions about how the condition works. Rule number 1 is that attack disadvantage or advantage only relate to distance from the prone creature. In other words, if you attack a prone creature with a melee reach weapon from 10 feet away, the attack still has disadvantage. Alternatively, if you attack a prone creature with a ranged weapon from within 5 feet, you have attack advantage. However, this is cancelled out from having disadvantage from making a ranged attack from within 5 feet. Rule number 2 is that you do not have advantage on grapple or shove attempts against a prone target. As the Sage Advice Compendium made clear, shoves and grapples are ability checks, not attack rolls, even if they do use the attack action. However, many DMs ignore this rule and still give advantage to the shover or grappler who's targeting a prone creature. And my final rules clarification is that you can become prone while swimming. The mechanics of the condition are identical, even if the description has to change. There are a bunch of smaller questions that players have about the prone condition, but these 3 are the ones that I see come up most often. As a final word, there are a few other ways that a player or a creature might find themselves prone, as listed here. And as a reminder, a DM can rule that any creature who meets a common sense definition of the word prone is effectively prone. For example, sleeping creatures or someone who trips and falls. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this guide on the prone condition helpful and can show your appreciation with a like and subscribe. It's a massive help for small YouTubers like me. If you have any stories about using the prone condition in your own Dungeons & Dragons game or questions about its rules, please share them in the comments below. This is D&D Lounge wishing you the best of luck in your next adventure.